Good morning. Matthew 7. Judging others. Do not judge, so that you may not be judged. For with the judgment you make, you will be judged, and the measure you give will be the measure you get. Why do you see the speck in your neighbour's eye, but do not notice the log in your own eye? Or how can you say to your neighbour, let me take the speck out of your eye, while the log is in your own eye? You hypocrite! First, take the log out of your own eye, and then you will be able to clearly see to take the speck out of your neighbour's eye. Trying to get money back for a holiday booked in May has proved impossible. Both TUI and Olympic Holidays say that I need a refund reference code, which is proving as difficult to obtain as rocking horse poo. Meanwhile, my nationwide travel insurance won't pay because these circumstances of COVID-19 are unforeseen circumstances. Call me naive if you like, but I always thought that was why you bought insurance, to cover unexpected events. But I do have to be careful here not to judge. The self-righteousness of the travel industry is frustrating, and a bit more openness and honesty and communication would be good. In my own business, I have always found honesty when one has made a mistake pays dividends in customer relationships. But we do live in self-righteous times. Everyone wants us to do surveys and give feedback that makes individuals and institutions look okay. We're being encouraged to judge against people at this time who lived in different times, in different cultural ages, who are now dead and cannot answer for themselves. I'm speaking, of course, of these many people who were empire builders and, yes, were involved in racism of various kinds and even slavery, which is wrong. We know that. But we are pointing our finger at others in ways that I find quite disturbing. And we should be remembering that whenever we point our forefinger at someone else, there are always three fingers pointing back at us. Being angry with each other is never going to achieve anything but yet more acrimony. Now, I'm a fine one to say that because I get angry and frustrated when I can't get my way or get justice or what I see as justice. So I'm not trying to pretend here to be self-righteous myself. I, like all of us, am faulty. Every single one of us is. And, I do find some comfort that I'm not alone in being faulty. And history has always been written by the victors or oppressors, none of whom were perfect people. This is all a human truth, or human truths that they just never change. 2,000 years ago, the Romans were occupying our shores, enslaving and oppressing. They also used to crucify people who they saw as enemies of the state, including the one, Jesus, who teaches us how to love. And I, for one, would hate to see the Romans' history eliminated because they did bad things, because there were some good civilising things that they brought into our nation too. We should show remorse for the past. I know that from my time in the Merchant Navy, working alongside those of many nationalities, and voyages to New Zealand, and seeing how Maori were treated. And that was nowhere near as bad as pre-apartheid South Africa, where fellow black British crew members were frightened to go ashore. Judgment of others goes nowhere, and we do need to work together. The whole debate about racism, both individual and institutional, is really on the world agenda now. And we do need to be embracing each other as this agenda unfolds, and praying for peace. Peace between nations, peace between peoples, and peace in our hearts, all of us, whatever the colour of our skin. Amen.